right move to pick Justin over Russ, with the caveat that maybe Justin Fields is going to be the backup and Russ is looking to start. So that's just part of the equation here. Coach,
it seems like the offensive coordinator likes Justin Fields better than
and has all
Russell,
along.
but the head coach likes Russell better than Justin Fields. At this point, it's going to be more of what we saw last year, so it's hard to get excited about either of them. If you're going to make a decision, maybe you go younger with the hopes that because he improved, he'll continue to improve and the ceiling is higher, and then you might also go cheaper, whichever one signs for a lower number, knowing that neither one is probably the answer moving forward long term.
Yeah, that's where, like, there's a ceiling with Russ, and you hit it last year. It's not going to be any better with Russ this year. Even if he plays well, you're going to go out in the first round at best. With Justin, it's probably the same ceiling or maybe even a little lower, but there is the possibility, it's slim at this point, but a possibility that he improves. I mean, we talked Sam Darnold earlier. Nobody would have thought he had this type of year that he had last year. So I would go with Fields. He'd probably be cheaper, and also there's a slight chance that maybe he improves and he becomes, a better quarterback for us.
I don't think
could be a guy in the future.
I don't think either one of these guys they're starting next year. I think, Brew, this will, shock you. I think there's a decent shot that when they come up in the draft, Shador's still on the board. And that they have a real.
What number are they?
There's talk that he's.
They made the play. I think they're 21.
You think Shador's going to be there at 21?
It's possible.
The Athletic today had
quarterback usually slides every year.
Yeah, it's possible.
And I think it's on the board. Shador is not the second quarterback taken. And
like a Jackson Dart
or the guy we're about to talk about. I think it's on the board, but I also think Shador is more likely to go in the 20s or later than in the top 5.
That would be a home run for the Steelers.
Well, and in that case, though, maybe you bring back Russ and let Shador. Now, if Shador's ready, you can play him right away.
Shador's ready to rock.
Okay, but
he's taking
maybe,
a ton of snaps.
I like Shador, but maybe he's ready to rock. And if he is ready to rock, then I put him in there ahead of Russ. But if not, I talked to Russ about, understand Shador's our future, and he might be our present. Are you cool being a mentor if he beats you out in training camp or if he plays well? And if Russ is cool with that.
Yeah, a lot of dudes come in ready to rock and get rocked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Coach, I'm not ready to
so
anoint
sure, and I like Shador.
I know.
I like to be.
You like to take your time.
To me, though, I love your scenario, but I think Aaron Rodgers, this should be the place for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers should go to Pittsburgh, and they should get him. Why not? He's not ruining Mike Tomlin's culture. In fact, wherever he goes, I think Devontae Adams should go.
Rodgers. That would be like the ultimate
No way.
test.
There's no way.
What about that storyline if he goes there and that's the 1 year now that they have a losing season?
That would be unbelievable.
Dusty, do we have time?
Hey, you got to take a risk.
What do you mean? It's 35. We have plenty of time.
You guys don't like Rodgers to Pittsburgh.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, congratulations, Pittsburgh Steelers. You're a mess. I mean, think about what this segment is. Maybe Shador Sanders. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. What about Justin Fields? What about, Russell Wilson? This is a tough place to be in. Why not making a play for Sam Darnold? What about Sam Darnold? Listen, man. Don't use Sam Darnold as a reference point as to what you can be. And look, no one expected that. Yeah, a lot of people did. Or I did. Even Colin Cowherd did. And Kevin O'Connell is a significantly better offensive mind and the head coach than what they're doing offensively in the offensive coaching in Pittsburgh. So it's kind of absurd. Yeah. It was reported the offensive coordinator did not get along with Russ, was very frustrated with what Russ was doing, and pretty much demanded that Russ do less of what he wanted to do, what they had earlier on, what they were doing earlier on with Russ when they had success. So I just think that the Steelers offensively are it's just going to continue to be muddled. The advantage of at least having Russ there is that he is an absolute bona fide seasoned veteran and will know what needs to be done really in any given moment. I'm not telling you that he's going to succeed in any given moment, but he'll know what needs to be done. Whereas Justin Fields is still trying to figure that out and is very much at the absolute mercy of his offensive coordinator. And I think there's a lot of limitations there. I do. And I do not think the offense looked good by any stretch of the imagination when Justin Fields was the quarterback. And it was significantly better with Russ. Significantly better. And we don't even have to just look at the numbers because the numbers are irrelevant to me. Just watch the games. Watch how the games unfolded. I want Justin Fields to be great. I really do. I want him to have like a redemption arc like Sam Darnold. But if the Steelers had better coaching in place offensively, then yeah, I could get behind that. I could. But the sheer fact that they're just still kind of like don't know what to do here, Fields has edge over Russ to return to the Steelers. Like, that just shows you how lukewarm they are on Justin Fields. That is a problem. You've already had him for a year. He's been in the league for years. If there was more juice there, then it would be obvious. It would be obvious. It would be clear. It would be known. The players, the coaches, etc. It would be loud. It would be firm. And we'd be hearing reports all the live long day about it. And we do not. We do not. That is a problem. That is a problem. I think the Steelers, honestly, probably should just go out and do everything they could to get Sam Darnold. That's their best chance at getting a good to great quarterback and have him in his prime for the next 5 years. And no more development needed necessarily. Just need a good offensive, team around him, and a great coordinator. And you're gonna win some games. He proved that with Minnesota. Heck, he even proved that with the 49ers and Shanahan in the very limited opportunities that he was given. So that's what I would do at this point. But this is what I keep saying, and this is what I've said in all of these Steelers offseason videos. This is the huge limitation of not having a bona fide offensive head coach that you really trust. Because now you're really leaning on this offensive coordinator, who's obviously been in the league for a bit, but you've only had him for a year. So you only have so much trust built, and he only has so much equity built within this organization, and now you're relying on him to try to figure out what do we do here. It's an uncomfortable place to be in. When Andy Reid says move on, when Shanahan says move on, when McVay says move on, when Kevin O'Connell says I want this guy, you can trust it. There's deep levels of trust and confidence and experience. The Steelers do not have that from an offensive perspective. So, it just, watching Justin Fields with the Steelers, it was uncomfortable. It was unsettled. It really was. It really was. You want to talk about his record? They beat the Falcons with Kirk Cousins, his first game back from his Achilles. He did not look good at all. Then they played the Broncos. Okay? Bo Nix's second game of his career. Again, they scored 6 points. The Falcons scored 10. Then they played the Chargers, where Justin Herbert didn't even finish the game. He was injured. Then you played the Colts, lost that game because they actually put up 27 points, but the Chargers only scored 10. The Broncos scored 6, and the Falcons scored 10. Okay? 26 total points in the last 3 games. than the Cowboys. Someone told me, I had gotten a conversation with someone in the comment section and said, oh, the defense blew that game. They gave up 20 points. They gave up 20 points. The defense did not blow anything. They did not blow anything. Justin Fields could not move the ball down the field. That much was obvious. That much was obvious. Then you beat the Raiders. Last time I checked, the Raiders are a really good team. And then that's when Justin Fields took over. Or excuse me, Russ took over. And then boom, 37-15. You know, things changed. So yeah. I just don't know where this belief in Justin Fields being able to be a difference maker for this team is coming from. And if he's not going to be a difference maker, or at a minimum, run the offense at a high level, then what are you doing? Because you can make the argument that Russ is not going to be a difference maker, but you know at the minimum he will run the offense at a high level. So what are you doing? What's the point then? Why do you think you're going to be better than you were last year? And if you don't think you're going to be better than you were last year, then why do any of this right now? Seriously, why do any of this? Well then heck yeah, trot out Justin Fields. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll get fortunate. And if not, and it's an epic disaster, great, you lose. And then you can draft high the following year. But we know the Steelers don't want that. They definitely take pride of, oh, no losing seasons, etc., etc. And I get it. And I guess I definitely get it from a Mike Tomlin perspective. You know, even just a selfish perspective, which I don't blame him for having, quite frankly. But in the, you know, bigger picture, doesn't do you very good. So yeah, I don't know where the Pittsburgh Steelers go from here right now. I know I'm definitely not going to do the whole song and dance and try to figure out, well, if they can get Shedeur Sanders and this or that. And it's like, I'm not going to try to predict where Shedeur Sanders is going to go in the draft. I mean, we're not going to make a whole video about that only to have him get drafted like top 5 or something. Like, I'm just not going to do that, quite frankly. And I'm not so sure that that's 100% the right move for the Steelers to even do that, honestly. So, yeah. If they're unhappy with their quarterback and they'd be willing to draft, say, a Shedeur Sanders and draft a quarterback and say, hey, this is the quarterback of the future, well, then that means you don't believe that Justin's the future or that Russ is the future. So then go get Sam Darnold. That's the only quarterback that you have the chance to get that can actually legitimately be your future, and you don't have to break the bank for him. Otherwise, then you're gonna have to just then actually do a rebuild. Then if that's the case, well then you're gonna have to eventually try to draft a quarterback. So then I don't know, man. Move on from TJ Watt, trade. Just start to stockpile draft picks, open up salary cap space, free up space. Be bad for a year or two, draft high, get a great quarterback, rebuild, and you know what I mean. Like, otherwise, you're just gonna keep doing what you're doing, that you've done for the last decade plus, and we already know where that goes. So, yeah, I don't know. It's they're just in this bizarre stuck scenario, and again, the reason why I'm so averse to a Justin Fields is just because I'm just I just don't see how that moves the needle. I don't see how this significantly improves this team. I just don't see it. And so if you're not significantly improving, then what are you doing? What's the point? Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think the right move would be to pick Justin Fields over Russ or over any quarterback, I suppose, for that matter? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.